What happens when a discovery so terrifying is made that it shakes the very foundation of human understanding? What happens when science, the very tool we use to explain the world, stumbles upon something it cannot explain, something that defies logic, reason, and perhaps even reality itself? Dr. Evelyn Carter, a renowned geophysicist, stood at the edge of a gaping chasm in the remote Siberian tundra. The air was thick with the acrid smell of sulfur, and the ground beneath her boots felt unnervingly warm, even through the thick insulation of her gear. Her team had been monitoring seismic activity in the region for months, but nothing could have prepared them for this. The chasm wasn't supposed to be here. It wasn't on any map, nor had it been detected by satellite imagery. It had simply appeared. And now, as Evelyn peered into its depths, she felt a chill that had nothing to do with the freezing temperatures. The darkness below seemed alive, pulsating, as if it were breathing. Dr. Carter, one of her team members, called out, his voice trembling. "You need to see this." Evelyn turned, her heart pounding. In his hands was a device measuring electromagnetic activity. The readings were off the charts, far beyond anything they'd ever recorded. And then, as if on cue, a low, guttural sound emanated from the chasm, a sound that seemed to reverberate through the very bones of the earth. This was no ordinary geological anomaly. This was something else entirely. The Siberian tundra was a place of stark beauty and unrelenting harshness. Stretching endlessly in every direction, it was a landscape of ice and snow, where the sun barely rose above the horizon during the winter months. It was a place where few dared to venture, and even fewer returned unchanged. For Evelyn, this was more than just a research expedition. It was a chance to prove herself, to make a discovery that would cement her place in the annals of science. She had spent years studying the Earth's crust, mapping its faults and fractures, and predicting where the next big earthquake might strike. But this was unlike anything she had ever encountered. The team had set up camp a few kilometers from the chasm, a cluster of tents and equipment that stood out starkly against the white expanse. The mood was tense, the usual banter and camaraderie replaced by a heavy silence. Everyone could feel it, the sense that they were on the brink of something monumental, something that could change everything. Evelyn sat in her tent, poring over the data. The seismic activity had been increasing steadily over the past few weeks, but there was no pattern to it, no rhyme or reason. It was as if the earth itself were convulsing, trying to expel something from its depths. She thought back to the legends she had heard from the local Yakut people, stories of a doorway to hell that led to a realm of darkness and despair. She had dismissed them as mere folklore, the product of superstition and fear. But now, as she stared at the readings on her laptop, she couldn't help but wonder if there was some truth to those tales. "Evelyn," a voice called from outside the tent. It was Dr. Marcus Lee, her second in command. "We've got something." She grabbed her coat and stepped out into the biting cold. The team had gathered around a monitor, their faces pale and drawn. On the screen was a live feed from a drone they had sent into the chasm. The footage was grainy, but what it showed was unmistakable. The walls of the chasm were lined with strange, pulsating veins that glowed with an eerie, otherworldly light. And at the bottom, partially obscured by the darkness, was what appeared to be a massive, ancient door. Its surface was covered in intricate carvings, symbols that none of them recognized. "What the hell is that?" someone whispered. Evelyn didn't have an answer. But one thing was clear. They had to find out. The decision to descend into the chasm was not made lightly. The risks were enormous, and the team was acutely aware that they were venturing into the unknown. But the allure of discovery, of unlocking the secrets that lay hidden beneath the earth's surface, was too great to resist. Evelyn led the way, her heart pounding as she rappelled down the sheer walls of the chasm. The air grew warmer the deeper they went, and the smell of sulfur became almost overwhelming. The veins in the walls pulsed with a faint, rhythmic glow, casting an eerie light on the team as they descended. When they reached the bottom, the door loomed before them, massive and imposing. Up close, the carvings were even more intricate, depicting scenes of chaos and destruction, of beings that were neither human nor animal. Evelyn ran her fingers over the symbols, her mind racing. This shouldn't be here," Marcus said, his voice barely above a whisper. "It's impossible." Evelyn didn't respond. She was too focused on the door, on the sense of foreboding that seemed to emanate from it. And then, as if in response to her presence, the door began to open. The sound was deafening, a deep, resonant groan that seemed to come from the very bowels of the earth. The team stumbled back, their flashlights flickering as the door slowly swung open, revealing a darkness so profound it seemed to swallow the light itself. And then, from within that darkness, something emerged. It was a figure, tall and gaunt, its skin a sickly grey. Its eyes glowed with a malevolent light, and its mouth was twisted into a grotesque smile. It moved with an unnatural grace, its limbs bending in ways that defied human anatomy. The team froze, their breaths caught in their throats. Evelyn's mind raced, trying to make sense of what she was seeing. This couldn't be real. It had to be a trick of the light, a hallucination brought on by the stress and the lack of oxygen. But then the figure spoke, its voice a guttural rasp that sent shivers down her spine. "You should not have come here," it said. And with that, the team's worst fears were realized. They had found the doorway to hell. And now, they were face to face with something that should never have been allowed to escape. The days that followed were a blur. The team managed to escape the chasm, though not without cost. 2 of their members were lost, their fates unknown. Evelyn and the others returned to the surface, forever changed by what they had witnessed. The chasm was sealed, the entrance buried under tons of rock and ice. The governments of the world were informed, and the area was declared off-limits, a forbidden zone where no one was allowed to venture. But for Evelyn, the ordeal was far from over. She couldn't forget what she had seen, the things she had learned. The doorway to hell was real, and it was a reminder that there were forces in the universe that humanity was not meant to understand. Yet, amidst the fear and the uncertainty, there was also a glimmer of hope. The experience had brought the team closer together, forging bonds that would last a lifetime. They had faced the unknown and survived, and in doing so, they had proven that even in the face of unimaginable terror, the human spirit could endure. Evelyn returned to her work, but with a new sense of purpose. She knew that the doorway to hell was still out there, a reminder of the fragility of human existence. But she also knew that as long as there were people willing to explore, to seek out the truth, there was hope. And so she continued her research, not out of a desire for fame or glory, but out of a deep-seated need to understand the world and the mysteries that lay hidden within it. For Evelyn, the journey was far from over. The story of the doorway to hell is a reminder that there are some things in this world that are beyond our understanding, forces that defy explanation and challenge our very perception of reality. But it is also a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, to our ability to face the unknown and emerge stronger for it. In the end, the greatest discovery we can make is not about the world around us, but about ourselves. It is about finding the courage to confront our fears, to seek out the truth, and to never stop exploring, no matter how dark the path may seem. For in the face of the unknown, it is our curiosity, our determination, and our humanity that will guide us through. End of story.